It is not quite 8 a.m. on Saturday, August 23rd, 2025. I'm actually in another state right now. I'm not in Massachusetts. And I have been leaving the state of Massachusetts for years, hoping to get away from the incessant, obsessive, and psychotic hate stalking activities of a severely disturbed, let's call her a virally induced insomniac, sex offender, level 3 pedophile, and homicidal reject named Jasmine Irizarry, who was so mentally disturbed even 19 years ago that she was verifiably a psychiatric inmate at the Lemuel Shattuck Hospital in Jamaica Plain, where she was under psychiatric care. And I simply happened to be a PhD student trainee doing a clinical rotation in that hospital that year, and inadvertently crossed paths indirectly with Jasmine Irizarry when she was being treated by members of my PhD program's treatment team at the Shattuck Hospital. The Shattuck Hospital is located less than a mile and a half from the building where Irizarry has been sponsored and provided with free housing by Oleg Alisiev, the property manager, reportedly. That's what, like 3 people have already told me this over the last few years. By the property manager, a crooked Russian slumlord named Oleg Alisiev, along with the Kritnik family, who appear to be not really legitimate landlords, but are using the slum that they own on the corner of Union Ave and Green Street as a money laundering front, and who themselves have operations and holdings in Russia, as I've been informed by 6 other separate people, different than the ones who came up to me and said Irizarry was being paid to engage in landlord-tenant harassment on behalf of the landlords. These 6 other individuals told me that Mr. Alisiev and the family who owns the building are members of Russian organized crime. So when a psychopath keeps following me around, not just around the building where she has been paid to live since 2013, and where I have verifiably lived as a rent-paying, out-of-pocket paying tenant since 2011. I've actually never received Section 8 assistance or housing payments of any kind, aside from grants like RAFT during the pandemic. That's a verifiable fact. I have no problem saying that. I wasn't earning an income during the pandemic, and so programs like RAFT provided people who weren't earning an income during the pandemic, which was pretty much everyone, with funding for rent. Anyway, Irizarry has been getting paid to live at the property at 5 Union Ave, conveniently placed in the unit behind my bathroom since 2013. She's been being paid to live there by the Greenville Group's owner family, the Kritniks, as well as Oleg Alisiev, the property manager, and Felicita Rodriguez, the other property manager, possibly. And over the last couple of years, Irizarry has graduated from following me around to my jobs in the Boston area, where she was always showing up on the subway trains that I happened to be taking when I was on my way to work constantly. I mean, Irizarry is constantly on the same subway car as me dozens of times over the few years that I was working downtown in the financial district back in 2017, 2018. And as I've mentioned in multiple prior videos, when I brought those concerns to Oleg Alisiev, the property manager, telling him, look, she's always on the trains. As she worked downtown, I was told that she doesn't work. She doesn't work. So why is she always on the trains that I take like at 7 a.m. to get to work downtown? Dozens of times per year. So she stopped doing that, obviously, because it was really obvious. And I had perfect vision at that time and could see her from a mile away. She's a large hulking form and has a shrill, shrieking, hyena-like laugh that she was constantly unleashing in my direction, not just in the building when I would reach the top of the stairwell and she'd be standing in her doorway, perving and creeping at what people were doing in the stairwell, but also on the trains that she was jumping onto that were the same trains that I was taking to get to and from work on the Orange Line in Boston. But now she's graduated to leaving the state at the same time that I happen to leave the state. So signs that Irizarry is in the state where you happen to be, even when it's not Massachusetts, are items that you carefully packed into your luggage just before leaving Boston are no longer in that luggage, even though you desperately need those items and have not opened your luggage since you left Boston. I haven't opened this luggage in 2 days because I haven't needed any of the items in this luggage since I arrived. But now that I need them, I'm taking apart everything in this luggage and none of those items are in there. These are 4 very key toiletry items that any normal person would need to get ready in the morning. And I deliberately did not put them in a single small bag in this luggage because I knew Irizarry has a tendency to use surveillance devices in the living space where I live in Boston and has an extensive history of stealing and vandalizing or otherwise contaminating items that I hide in luggages, in bags, in zipped up containers, sticking them under my bed. She somehow has knowledge of those items and where I put them. And then she takes them out and vandalizes them or just outright steals them to let me know that A, she has knowledge of where I hide my valuables, and B, she has access to those valuables whenever she wants, and C, she wants me to know that A, she knows where I keep those valuables, and B, that she can take those valuables and mess with them anytime she wants. She's a psychopath, and her behavior consistently and constantly and incessantly to the detail fits all of the diagnostic criteria for psychopath behavior, activities, and obsession. Right? Psychopaths don't really care about anything. The only emotion that they actually feel is narcissistic rage. And psychopaths are all pathological narcissists. Pathological meaning they constantly engage in crimes and harmful behavior towards other people to serve their own needs without feeling any kind of remorse, pity, or regret. That's a psychopath. That's how all psychopaths engage in some type of crime and harmful activity towards other people, and all serial killers are psychopaths. So right now I have totally emptied out this entire luggage. I mean, I'm actually putting stuff back in. I'm all the way down to the bottom of the luggage. As you can see, this is the bottom. And none of the items that I badly need that I had saved and stored in this luggage just before leaving, which was 3 days ago now, are in this luggage at all. They're gone. These were key items, 4 of them, large actually, so I would immediately notice bottle of conditioner, giant sort of economy-sized bottle of baby powder, a full-size deodorant, and shampoo. Those key items are completely gone from this luggage. I had put all of those items in this luggage and scattered them around between the clothes that I was packing so that the psychopath, who I know uses surveillance devices in my living space and has extensively made it a point to go after the items that I happen to hide in little hiding places, like in my luggages, in my bags, under my bed, in my bathroom drawers, etc. She takes only those items, not anything that's lying around in plain sight, but the items that I need and want to keep safe away from her, she takes those. Because narcissistic psychopaths are constantly on a power trip to rub it in your face that they have knowledge of what you do and that they have access to you and your belongings at any point and that you cannot get away from them. That nothing that you try to hide from them or keep safe from them is actually safe. That is the psychopath. She doesn't care about shampoo and baby powder. She's not stealing these things out of the places where I have deliberately and very carefully hidden them because she needs baby powder or deodorant, although I'm sure it's nice to have those items for free when you can get them. But she steals them, only those items, to let me know that nothing that I try to hide from her is actually hidden from her. She's on a narcissistic power trip because she uses surveillance devices. She is a self-proclaimed IT expert. Her best friend and sponsor, Oleg Alexeyev, the criminal slumlord property manager, has bragged that she's a talented hacker who can hack into anything. So he's exacerbating her pathological narcissism and her narcissistic need to rub people's faces in her own criminal activities, just to let you know that she can, right? That's why serial killers are all psychopaths. They blatantly kill multiple people in a string of often unresolved murders for years because they want people to know that this is their masterpiece. This is what they can get away with. This is what they do. And isn't it amazing? Nobody else can do this and I can get away with it. Watch me keep doing this. That's a psychopath. And this keeps happening down here. So again, it's early in the morning. I need these items. They're gone. I've taken completely most of the items out of this luggage, removed everything, just went to the bottom of it. A giant bottle of baby powder, full-size deodorant, shampoo, and conditioner would be immediately obvious if they were still in the luggage. And those items are gone, but nothing else is missing. So my nice clothing, right, that I very carefully packed, it's all still in there. She hasn't taken any items of clothing out. No, she took the toiletry items that I desperately need and very carefully hid in various locations throughout this luggage. Oh, wow. Just to let me know that she knows exactly where I keep the things that I don't want her to have or have access to. Yeah, so as I'm standing here talking, all of a sudden, within the last 30 seconds, Irizarry has resumed her use of some kind of electronic assault device that she claims is a directed energy weapon, and that her friend Christopher Thomas, the hate-stalking sex offender, who the Massachusetts Commonwealth court system took to court on my behalf a few years ago for threatening to kill me. Well, he corrected me on a video that I made referring to Irizarry's electronic assault device as a directed energy device. He said it's a directed energy weapon, and you should call it what it is. It's a weapon. So these psychos who admit to using a directed energy device to harass me and let me know when they are in the vicinity, admit to using it and then correct me on incorrectly calling it a directed energy device. They want me to call it a directed energy weapon because they are so obsessed with their own criminal activity and the fact that obviously they're getting away with it, that they rub your face in it and tell you to call it by its proper name. A device that they are using to physically assault me that induces significant harm upon use. They want me to call it by its proper name. They don't care that it can potentially kill me. A directed energy device can induce heart attacks, strokes, seizures. It can kill people who have fragile physiological issues, such as who have a heart condition, such as who have elevated blood pressure, right? So when you have elevated blood pressure, your blood vessels are at greater risk for bursting. And when somebody uses a directed energy device to electronically assault you on a regular basis, they can cause you to have a stroke or an aneurysm. They can cause your aorta to burst. If you have a seizure disorder, they can cause and trigger a seizure by using a directed energy device on you. So that's happening right now. What time is it? Just for the record, Irizarry is once again now using her directed energy weapon that she wanted me to call a weapon because she's a psycho narcissist, along with her friend Christopher Thomas, who also goes by the name Charles Thomas, or maybe they're brothers, I don't know, to let me know that while I'm standing here making a video about how she has taken all 4 large toiletry items that I hid in this luggage 4 days ago, she is now letting me know by using a directed energy device to electronically assault me while I'm standing here in another state out of Massachusetts for 2 days. And I made videos while I was on the train coming down here that I was being electronically assaulted by Jasmine Irizarry's directed energy device because she wants to let me know that she can follow me anywhere I happen to go and that clearly she has some kind of self-perceived permission to do so. I mean, unless the Trump Department of Justice has provided her with permission to do this, what she's doing is highly illegal, and it is a crime, not just a crime in the state of Massachusetts, but it's a federal crime because then it is now occurring across state lines. This is vandalism and theft across state lines, the use of a unlawful deadly weapon across state lines, carrying a deadly weapon across state lines. I'm assuming she doesn't have directed energy weapons stored in all the states that I happen to go to that she shows up in. I'm assuming she's carrying it with her. So that's the equivalent of carrying a firearm across state lines. When you carry a directed energy weapon across state lines, it's pretty much the same thing. Harassment, criminal harassment, stalking with the intent to induce harm, attempted murder, because the use of a directed energy weapon is attempted murder. You don't know what the downstream side effect is of the blast of the EMF beam when you aim it at somebody, right? You can kill them. You can cause a heart attack. You can cause a stroke. You can stop their heart. You can literally fry their brain. You can trigger an aortic aneurysm. You can trigger a stroke. You can trigger anything because directed energy weapons are exactly that. They are weapons and they are deadly weapons. And also, I can't find my baby powder, my shampoo, my conditioner, and my deodorant, because those 4 items have been deliberately taken, once again, from the little tiny hiding corners where I put them very carefully in this luggage 4 days ago. Haven't opened this luggage. It's been stored here in this apartment while I've been out for the last few days. And obviously, Irizarry knows exactly what I keep where and what I do with it. And she knows exactly how to get to it. And that's what she wants me to know. There we go. There you go. Here's your publicity, psycho trash. Now go jump off a cliff, because you don't belong on this planet. All you do is hate stalk people who you feel intimidated by and have a problem with, because you know you'll never be like them.